Hello, I'm going to be introducing you now to different types of objects so that you can understand what will and will not work to create a mold from for your casting project. First thing is it needs to be hard and smooth and not porous. So this sponge would be awful, right? Because it's absorbent, it's gonna pull the plaster into it. It has this really pronounced texture that's going to grab. So that would be definitely a no. All right. So this screwdriver is actually a little bit closer to what we want, right? It is also hard and smooth. However, it has a really pronounced texture. So that you could see would cause some undercuts for sure. The plaster would definitely stick in there. So that's not gonna work. Next I have this staple gun. This is actually getting closer, right? So it doesn't have any kind of issues with the texture. However, there's some issues here. So this kind of handle area, you can see it's hollow, it goes in all the way into there. So that would create undercuts where the plaster would get stuck kind of down in those cavities. So moving on next, I have this pair of pliers. Now it's kind of similar to the staple gun, except I no longer have that issue of any kind of undercuts or hollow parts. So it's definitely something that could work. However, these handles are actually quite thin. So when you think about casting these with a material like wax or plaster, you run the risk of that ending up kind of fragile. So that would be a concern, but it could kind of work. So here's an object that it would not be an issue that it is too fragile. It's obviously pretty large. It has this handle that could be kind of an undercut, but if you were to place the parting line correctly, it could be possible to make it work. However, there's a different issue with this one. It's just too big for what we're doing. Going around this with plaster, you can imagine that would make your mold like bigger than a cinder block and really heavy, really susceptible to being dropped, broken, leaking out of your mold from just the weight of all of that volume of plaster on each step. Lots of issues with trying to go this large. And next I have a potato. So it does have a little bit of texture, but it's shallow enough. It is hard, it is smooth, and it's in a scale range that will work. It does not have any kind of long, skinny appendages or parts that might be fragile. So we are going to use a potato because it is the perfect object to cast.